All right, it's steeper. So the span was 40, and the one I showed last night was a 512 in reverse. It's not really 512. So I went a 412 because that's a division of 20. So it's 5. So it's another portion taller. It's taller than I've drawn, but I kind of like it. I'll show you the engineering. So we got a half lap. Got a half lap in here, so these become, they won't be able to spread. Gonna add an anchor on a threaded rod, and that's gonna go right down through. And we're gonna pull this whole thing down to the very bottom plate in Nick's shop. Just a steel rod all the way down, cranked all the way down, okay? At any rate, that's it. I've got my soffit with the rabbeted ledge for the half-inch aspenite. So tomorrow that's just dry assembled because there's a few things I still have yet to do. To cut the hip rafters. So that's a 36 12 pitched roof. Steepest one I've ever done. Anyway, please comment. I think it's looking pretty snazzy. So the rafters are a 36-12 pitch. Trying to figure out my hip. And of course, even my big framing square doesn't go to 36-17. So let's clamp the two together. That's a 36-inch beam, and I had to add an inch to my 16-inch tongue. And interestingly enough, it turns out to be a 6-12 hip cut. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what I'm going to use to make my cuts. Okay, so this is the plumb cut. I added a little fence here so I can run my little crappy Ryobi. And Metabo, you know, I'd love to have a set of your tools, or any of the major manufacturers. The Wadkin Temple is looking for a sponsorship or someone to set them up with some cordless tools for site work and hereabouts. It's only got to be better than Ryobi, which isn't much to say. But my buddy Mark Cranenberg from Green Home Builders, he's the representative for Metabo, and I've heard really good things about them, so I'd be curious to see what they are. Anyway, what I'm doing is I made a little fence, and I have to make a little peaking cut. So that's because going into a 4x4, right? So here we go. So also, what's an interesting little thing is you can take the inside cut, which is this, and determine your backing cut. So you can just slide your point up to the line, trace the back there, and there's your backing cut for the hip rafter. Wasn't that easy? Geometry never lies. Okay, turns out it wasn't 612, it was 812, and don't rely on the any numbers under 12. You had to figure that stuff out on your own. Turned out I had to go to math, so geometry doesn't always tell you the answers. But it was 25.24 degrees. That's what I needed to know, how to do a little bit of math. So here we go. Structure's in place. We're mitered. You know, we're fairly good. This is just roughly put together. I'm sure it's good enough for construction. You can see my back cuts are good, and I'm still going to add maybe a ring in here to lock the center together. Those crossers there are half lapped, so a couple discs of plywood top and bottom will hold that ring together. And I might use a JRK screw in these locations. I think this is stiff enough as it is. Everything's been reinforced. These, the apron's ready to go. You can see I've got a little bit extra room this time on my rabbit. I found that this stuff can swell, and by the time I add all the other stuff, it left a gap there, and I'd like that to be a tighter a tighter look, especially if we're looking up and we can see that gap. So I extended that just a little bit, and well, you can see it's sitting pretty flat. But last thing I want to do is perhaps cut just a little sloped molding, cut into there, so that when I bring my material up here, I can have a small little flashing that'll tuck underneath. Because I don't suspect I'll be up on this roof in my lifetime. Well, I mean, that's the hopes, right? And so, you know, roof that steep, leaks, I doubt it, especially with cedar shingle. Anyway, let's see if I can get her sheathed in tomorrow and ready to shingle by, well, Friday morning. That'll be fun. I've got most of my painting done. Well, first coat. This has to be sanded. I've got a coat on all of the louvers, which is a lot of work, trust me. And so, anyway, that's all she wrote today. Thanks for watching.
What you doing there, Jack?
Well, I'm thinking, Nick, if we ever get some tornadoes like we got a few years back, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to run a 5/8 threaded rod all the way to the plate in our building so that it's locked. So I'm just getting the sections here. And notice, Nick, that what did I give you? I have some of these left over from the museum, your hand-forged square washers. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are a bit of a blast in the past.
Yes, they are. And the beautiful thing is, there was a whole bunch extra, and I didn't have to get you to make them, so we're not wasting what we did, right?
Hey, well, absolutely.
At any rate, I'll put the extended T-nuts on, like for extending rods.
Oh, a connector, yeah.
Yeah, and so this will be the only assembly, and then from there we'll go all the way down once the whole thing's assembled.
Okay.
But that's what we're doing right now. It's locked into the hip rafters. This is 3x screws in here, 2 JRKs, half lapped.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt she's going anywhere.
Yeah, if that comes apart, something's gone drastically wrong.
Well, I'm sure there won't be any shingle left if it does come apart.
Yeah, it's
But that'll be sitting there, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So I'm locking her in place, and let's see what Mother Nature has to offer.
Knock on wood, don't tempt fate.
Don't tempt fate is right. Thanks.
Wow, how far is that thread up into there?
Well, it goes all the way through the top of the tuba forks, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're half lapped.
Oh, okay.
It might not be perfectly lined. There I am. Seem to be hitting. I'm supposed to be about 1 1/4 left, so I can drive it a little bit up into the 4x4 for a nice tight, and then I'll snug up the bottom nut so she doesn't spin.
Gotcha.
And because I don't think we're going to be able to crawl up here, neither me nor you, no matter how.
Yeah, I don't think either of us is quite skinny enough for that.
Pretty tight. So I got to check out my nut. See if I want to go possibly halfway. So with my washer, see. So I'll put a washer on. There's good,
yeah, that's perfect.
right? So then we'll just leave. This will be the base, and then we're ready to go. Thanks, Nick.
Sounds good, man.
Okay, so here's the setup. Got lots of thread capture. This is locked by a nut on that side. And so, because we won't ever get access to this because we'd have to crawl up through this little hole. I suppose you could, but nobody would want to. And there'll be another something blocking that off, so we'll show you. Anyway, looks pretty good. Got the nut here, so that's locked up. It won't spin. It's locked here. Hey, man. This roof is Hercules. All right, a few more things and I can put ice shield on her. Now I must admit, I don't like putting blue skin on, but I do like it when it's a decent job. And well, at least I know if the shingle blow off of this, I don't have to go up the next day. This will be a hard little spot to get to. So I'll clean up the shop and get ready to lay beautiful Western red sheeter shingles on there. Once I lay down some tar paper. Anyway, not bad for the day. Exactly where I wanted to be. I wanted to start laying shingle on for Not a very productive day today in terms of building, but the shop's in order and I have my shingle for this stuff, and it's beautiful stuff. This is quarter sawn vertical grain heartwood. You can see the dark color. This is the same product. You can see the difference in the growth rings. Growth rings on this are incredible. This is a whole stack of, oh, these are 10, 12 inches wide. Nice butts, and they're 24 inches long. Quick little shop tour for you guys. Sanding section, grinding section, a few little spindle molders, spindle molder tooling, chain mortising tooling, drill press, radial arm saw, general 10-inch table saw, Engelbert 6-inch parallelogram skewed knife jointer, a general 8-inch with extended tables, a little watchmaker's mill, an 8-foot Wadkin lathe, pattern makers, Hitachi resaw with a 3-inch carbide tooth blade, another spindle molder, a ship saw tilts, not the table, a Stenner chain chisel mortiser, the Wadkin PK sliding table saw, another band saw. What else do we got here? Did I show you the sanding section? I did. Anyway, this is just a small little bench shop. Thanks for watching. Okay, starting the shingle, don't want to cover up too much. So I've added more tar paper. Always add tar paper. You don't want shingle against blue skin. You always want tar paper. We're going to be weaving that into the course. And you can see I'm already starting to flare it to the outside so I don't have corners. I don't want hipped corners. I want weaved corners. And so I'm just pulling a string. That seems to be about the center. And you can see that is my core. That is my radiation of the shingles. Okay, and I'm going to maintain that with a pattern. These are leftover shingles that were stained, which is just the starter course, and I've already started weaving stainless steel staples, tar paper, and I'll keep showing you the process as we go along.